Imagine walking into a dealership and being told you can buy a brand new electric car for just $14,999. At first, it sounds impossible. For years, electric vehicles have been seen as expensive technology, reserved for people willing to spend $40,000 or $50,000. But suddenly, a car has appeared that completely challenges that idea. And the company behind it is BYD. The car is called the BYD 7, and since its launch, it has sparked intense debate across the auto industry. Some people believe it could trigger a new wave of affordable electric cars. Others wonder if it's even possible to build a reliable EV at that price. So how did BYD pull it off? And could this car completely reshape the future of the global EV market? Because once you understand the technology and strategy behind it, you realize this isn't just another electric car. It might be the beginning of a massive shift. But to understand why, we first have to look at the country where the EV revolution exploded faster than anywhere else. If there's one place on Earth where electric cars have truly become normal vehicles, it's China. In many cities, EVs aren't considered futuristic technology anymore. They're simply transportation. Walk down the street, and you'll see electric taxis quietly moving through traffic. Delivery vans humming past with almost no sound. Families commuting in compact EV sedans. Petrol and diesel cars still exist, but electric vehicles are everywhere. This transformation didn't happen by accident. For years, the Chinese government has heavily supported electric mobility. Buyers received subsidies, tax incentives, and access to expanding charging infrastructure. Charging stations began appearing in cities, parking garages, shopping centers, and on highways. As a result, millions of drivers realized something important. Electric cars were no longer just cleaner, they were cheaper to operate. And in the middle of this growing market, one company quickly rose to dominance, BYD. But what makes BYD different from many other EV companies isn't just the cars it sells. It's the technology the company built long before it ever started making cars. Before BYD became famous for electric vehicles, it was known for something else entirely: batteries. The company originally built rechargeable batteries for electronics. Over time, that expertise expanded into electric vehicle technology, and that early experience gave BYD a massive advantage. While many car companies rely on outside suppliers for critical components, BYD decided to control almost everything itself: batteries, motors, electronics, software. This strategy is known as vertical integration, and it dramatically reduces production costs. Instead of paying suppliers, BYD builds its own parts inside its own factories. That approach has helped the company grow into one of the largest EV manufacturers in the world. But even more importantly, it allowed BYD to develop one of the most talked about technologies in the electric vehicle industry: the Blade battery. And this battery may be the real reason cars like the E7 can exist at all. Whenever people talk about electric cars, the conversation eventually comes down to one thing: the battery. It's the most expensive part of the vehicle, and it's also the component that raises the most concerns about safety and longevity. BYD approached this problem differently. Instead of using traditional battery pack designs, the company created something called the Blade battery. The name comes from its shape. Long, thin battery cells that resemble blades are arranged tightly inside the pack. This design improves structural strength and reduces wasted space, but the biggest advantage is safety. In tests, the Blade battery has been subjected to nail penetration experiments that normally cause lithium batteries to overheat or catch fire. In many demonstrations, the battery remained stable even after being punctured. That kind of durability dramatically increases consumer confidence. And there's another advantage. Because the cells are long and thin, heat spreads more evenly across the battery pack. That helps reduce overheating and improves battery lifespan. In other words, the Blade battery isn't just safer, it's also cheaper to produce at scale, which leads directly to the car everyone is talking about. When people first see the BYD 7, the design doesn't scream luxury, and that's intentional. The exterior is clean, modern, and simple. Slim headlights, smooth body lines, and a shape designed for efficiency rather than flashiness. But the real surprise happens when you step inside. The cabin feels far more spacious than many people expect from a budget EV. There's a large touchscreen at the center of the dashboard controlling navigation, media, and vehicle information. The layout is minimal but functional. Passengers in the rear seats get decent legroom, and the interior doesn't feel cramped. For families using the car for daily commuting, school runs, and shopping trips, The design works perfectly. It's not trying to compete with luxury vehicles. It's designed to be practical. But a low-cost EV still needs to deliver a decent driving experience. And surprisingly, the E7 manages that as well. Press the accelerator in an electric car, and something interesting happens. Instead of engine noise, the vehicle moves forward, almost silently. The BYD 7 delivers that same smooth electric experience. Acceleration is quick enough for city traffic, and the car responds immediately when the pedal is pressed. Stop-and-go driving feels effortless. On highways, the E7 remains stable at normal cruising speeds, and overtaking slower vehicles doesn't require much effort. But the number that matters most to EV buyers is range. The E7 is estimated to travel roughly 400 kilometers on a full charge. For most commuters, that's several days of driving before needing to recharge. And because electric motors require far fewer moving parts than gasoline engines, maintenance costs remain extremely low. But the real mystery remains. How can BYD sell a car like this for under $15,000? The answer lies in a strategy most automakers struggle to replicate. There are several reasons the E7 can be sold at such an aggressive price. First, BYD manufactures its own batteries. Since the battery is the most expensive component of an EV, producing it internally removes a massive cost. Second, BYD builds vehicles on an enormous scale. When millions of cars are produced each year, the cost of individual components drops dramatically. Third, the company avoids unnecessary spending. Instead of pouring billions into flashy marketing campaigns, BYD focuses on the product itself. In China, the brand already has strong recognition. Word of mouth and visibility on the roads do much of the advertising. Finally, the E7 is designed to prioritize practicality instead of luxury extras. That combination of efficiency, scale, and vertical integration allows BYD to achieve something many automakers still consider impossible: a genuinely affordable electric car. And this strategy is starting to make the rest of the auto industry nervous. For years, the electric vehicle market was dominated by premium models. One of the most famous brands in that space is Tesla, known for high-performance electric cars with advanced software. But vehicles like the E7 target a completely different audience: everyday drivers, people who want reliable transportation without spending luxury car money. If affordable EVs start spreading globally, many traditional automakers may be forced to rethink their strategies. Prices could drop, production could accelerate, and the competition for the entry-level EV market could become intense, which raises an even bigger question. What happens if affordable electric cars become the norm? For decades, gasoline cars dominated transportation because they were practical and affordable. Electric vehicles were often seen as futuristic experiments, but that perception is changing. Battery technology continues to improve. Charging infrastructure keeps expanding, and manufacturing costs are steadily falling. Cars like the BYD 7 suggest a future where electric vehicles are no longer luxury products. Instead, they become the default choice for millions of drivers. If that happens, the auto industry could experience one of the biggest transformations in its history. And the companies leading that change may not be the ones people expected. Because sometimes, the biggest disruptions don't come from the most expensive technology. They come from the most accessible one. And if BYD continues moving at its current pace, the global EV market may never look the same again.